Okay, I was in the mood for a horror flick, and it was Not So Half Price Tuesday, and the highly anticipated Nun 2 has finally hit the screen. If I remember correctly, the Nun came from The Conjuring 2. My personal opinion, the best in the trilogy, and a lot of that is due to the amazing design of the nun. Like, god damn, bro, that whole look is creepy. I've seen this nun appear 3 times, and it still makes the hairs on my ass stand stiffer than Terry Fox's only leg. My bad, bro, you're a legend. Let me try this again. Makes the hairs on my ass stand stiffer than Joe Biden's legs. Something we can all get behind. It is not easy making horror films, even though they're some of the cheapest movies to make, but horror movies are some of the most technical things to do. It is an absolute nightmare. Plus, one of the hardest things to do for actors is to show actual fear. Plus, on top of that, trying to direct the feeling of terror or haunting is such a hard thing to do because it takes some knowledge and psychology to make the audience believe in some form of terror. And then everything that comes with it, like cinematography, sound mixing, score, lighting tricks, special effects, practical effects, negative and positive spaces. However, they're one of the most exciting films to shoot. Alright, so lock your doors, grab your blankie, because I'm about to go in on this movie and to see if the sequel added anything to the Conjuring universe, and if it will lead us to a final addition to a trilogy. Hey, if Annabelle could get a trilogy, why not the Nun? So what I look forward in a sequel to horror movies is not so much what new scares they can give us, because let's be real here, every movie kind of does the exact same style. But I look for more context or history about the supernatural presence. I don't think we ever got any information on who this nun is, unless I don't remember, which I guess speaks volume of its predecessors. But in this movie, instead of being a ghost haunting, the team ended up coming to a conclusion that it is not a demon, but a fallen angel. And it's looking for an ancient family relic that possesses a lot of power to then inflict havoc on the world? Never really understood the motivation of what it was going to do with it, because they never really addressed on the limits of power this nun has. There's certain moments where it shows like a devastated town, and other times it can't do shit, which I'll get into it more. It continues on from the characters of the first movie, and I gotta be honest with you, I completely forgot these characters. I thought this movie was following a completely different group of characters and telling a new story with them. But the movie does do a good enough job reminding you who these characters are and what happened to them, to catch you up in case you're an idiot like me who suffers from dementia. So thank you, but god damn. And whenever a sequence happens with a character being haunted, it's so confusing of where and how it's happening. Like, are these people around them seeing this character just looking at a wall and all this haunting is happening within their mind? Or did they get transported into a different realm where it's controlled by a higher being? For example, in Stranger Things, they established there's the upside down world, and whenever a character is stuck in a trance, their body is still present in the real world, and their mind gets brain blasted in the other, and everyone around them sees them stuck in that mindfuckery. And that was never really established in these movies. And do you need to see her or be touched by her from somebody who's possessed in order to be affected? Or can she just haunt anybody? In this movie, she survived because she was able to possess Frenchie from the previous movie. And there's a scene where they knocked him out, and the haunting stopped for a brief moment, so I guess he has to be conscious in order for her to be doing her thing. So I'm going to assume from that, Frenchie doesn't ever sleep because she clearly has control over him. But then the things that happen to him in this movie, the amount of beating and damage he takes, and it's not even affecting him, makes me question, why did he get knocked out in the first place? And I try to put myself in the shoes of this demon's thought process on why it does what it does. And then you laugh because it's kind of stupid, and you begin to think, this demon is an actual moron. Like, why do you choose who to kill and not to kill? There are scenes where she kills people with ease, and like just random people, and other times she just torments them. Why? For your own amusement? There's even a scene where she has the main character by her throat, and you clearly want her dead because she could put an end to you and everything that you're working towards. But instead of easily snapping her neck, she gets distracted and then drops her. Why? Just kill her. You can look the other way and snap her neck at the same time. It takes you a second. And we know you can multitask because you can torment the whole skull and bring inanimate objects to life at the same time. And in the movie they state she's only going after the descendants of a certain family bloodline, but still doesn't make any sense because in that same movie she's just killing random people that aren't even related. And even the previous movie she's just killing people. We can see she can haunt a big group of people at the same time. So why doesn't she just inflict havoc into a whole city? Does she just not have enough bandwidth? Man, I don't know. It's also been established in the Conjuring universe that demons and such are a thing. So why aren't there more priests coming to aid in situations like this? This is a big deal. Wouldn't you want to stop something that could end the world? Just makes me think these priests and churches are incompetent and don't deserve to be saved. And you know the scenes when a character is being haunted and they're following the red flags and you're screaming at them, stop, just stop. And they do that quite a bit in this movie, which is fine. It's a totally normal thing in horror movies. And they do it with a kid in this movie, and it's fine because kids are naive and stupid, even with random people who don't know better. But what irks me is the main character, Sister Irene, has the power to predict the future. So she's clearly tapped into whatever supernatural thing that these beings get their power from, but can't fully access it. And then also in this movie, they don't ever really expand more on it. She never questions why she can see these things or even do more with it. Like, I don't know, like meditate or pray to tap into that power and see what else she can do with it. So that was a bit of a waste. But this character with this power, who has dealt with this demon before and played her games, I was expecting her to learn and improve and make adjustments in case she gets into one of her mind games again and will approach it a lot differently. But there's no progression and just keeps falling for the same traps. You're lucky that you got plot armor. I want to talk about this one scene because it was a really cool one, but also hilarious at the same time. Sister Irene gets stuck in the nurse's trance and just keeps following the obvious traps and then comes across a magazine stand. And the pages start flipping slowly and eventually shows an abstract image of the nun. And it was a really cool visual. The lighting was set up nice. The slow tension of showing the pages flipping to reveal her was all great and awesome. But then I put myself into the demon's shoes and I try to figure out, why are you doing this? Were you like, yo, this is a cool way to scare the shit out of her? Did you even know the magazine stand was there? Like, was this a setup? Does this demon come up with different creative ways to scare people and saw this magazine stand and you were like, yo, this will be sick. I really hope she comes in this alleyway. So when Irene was in the alley, the demon kept baiting her, like, please keep following me. I worked really hard on this. Alright, so I'm going to go into spoiler territory right here. So if you don't want to be spoiled, click up, but don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Or else I get the nun to eat your ass. Okay, so I didn't feel there was any consequences in this movie, just because how the film ends. Nobody significant in this film bites the bullet. In the end, when they when they got the demon out of Frenchie, they played it off like he was okay. The amount of damage he took, I would think would kill him, because it was the possession that kept him going. Or even the toll it did to his mind could turn him into a vegetable. Like, it would be nice to see some consequences showing that, hey, look, we stopped this demon, but it did impact us at a major level, like losing a friend, like Frenchie. Or, if you want him to live, at least show us something like that broke him mentally. So when his love interest tries to take him back, get him to, like, decline it and go a separate way, making him lose his love because he's afraid of hurting her again if it comes back. Or just show he's a broken man. These things change people. Trauma changes people. It's like it was just a small inconvenience, and it just made the ending feel cheap, safe, and a cop-out. I know I didn't go into too much about the story and the plot, because honestly, it is just a generic movie, which is fine, as long as it's executed properly. And it did for the most part. I was thoroughly entertained, but then again, I am a sucker for these movies. But I gotta say, the actress that plays the nun, even though she doesn't say a word, man, she plays a creepy nun so well. But I gotta say, man, her husband must shit himself every fucking time he sees her. I don't know how he does it. How does he share a room with her? You know, how do... You know, they're in the bedroom and about to get down to the sheets, and then they turn off the lights. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to take a piss. She's just standing at the end of the hallway. But even though I had some gripes with this movie, I do recommend it. It is an entertaining movie. If you like horror movies, you want to get some good scares, they do some really creative things. And honestly, they can basically make the same movie over and over, and I'd always go to watch it. I wouldn't say I'm easy to impress when it comes to horror. It's just that the design of the nun is so damn creepy, and how they utilize her will never get old to me. Maybe if they had writers who put more thought into it and gave these movies more substance, expand the world and try new things, maybe these movies could be put into a different caliber. But when you don't take risks and make a generic product, you'll drown it out and it'll blend in with the rest. And in a day, it's forgotten. Alright, well, I'm done here. So if you like this video, like and subscribe. Until my next one, ta-ta for now. Yeah, remember her? She's a supporting character in this movie. She was also in The Last of Us and used as a tool to show us how gay Ellie was. Yeah, how the hell does she have a job still? Didn't she tell everybody to not watch Last of Us because of all the gay stuff that was happening? What kind of an actor markets their projects by telling you not to watch it? How is she still working? Jesus Christ, man.